What makes us a Shetlander?
Makes a Shetlander?
I think maybe a wee bit of that self-reliance thing, that individuality. The fact that you want to be different and that you like being a bit different.
I know some Shetlanders that hardly ever leave Shetland at all. They like it so much.
What makes a Shetlander a Shetlander?
I think Shetlanders are, when they do go places, they tend to go to other islands. Nothing I like better is going visiting other islands, and you find.
Have you been to Lewis?
I've been to Lewis and Harris.
In June 2018, myself and Kate Macleod travelled from Lewis to Shetland as part of the Between Islands exchange. During our time there, we explored the differences between our islands and the affinity we all have as islanders.
Lots of little things that goes into it, and island communities generally, certainly Shetland, over the centuries we've actually gone and travelled the world. Whether it was a whaling, or it was the herring, or just the merchant navy, I think people have gone everywhere, and so there is a good mix that ends up in the islands from that. But what makes them individual, I think it's self-reliance.
I suppose it's different for the city life, and that side. And you could, I don't know, we always say, well, I find that myself, always kind of, you're away for a while, you're always looking forward to going home again. I always get that, you've been away a few weeks, that's kind of enough, we get back to Shetland, what am I missing out there?
Music is definitely a massive part. So yeah, the traditional music and the fact that music's used in everything. Whether it's a birthday party or a wedding or an event, the music's always part of it, and that's really important.
There's a lot going on here, music-wise. There's obviously the traditional side of things. There's fiddles. There's a traditional song as well, the dialect. And then there's more contemporary music.
Shetland's music scene is built on strong traditions, but similarly to Lewis, also involves a range of genres and age groups. What we noticed most was just how much music we were surrounded by in our short visit. The music shop was filled to the brim with instruments, books and ongoing lessons, and a huge amount of young children were keeping up with traditions with the fiddle.
You have loads of music out there in the west. There's probably a bit more in the singing, and because you have the Gaelic and strong tradition of that. In Shetland, unfortunately, we lost our language. We had the Northern language that was here for centuries, but we just have remnants of words of that in the dialect.
The dialects are struggling, and I've got a huge level of respect to the amount of investment that's gone into preserving and promoting Gaelic as a language, and I kind of wish that there was the same level of investment and interest in I suppose, protecting that Shetland dialect.
It's very much the Nordic flavour which runs through us automatically, and you see that, as I say, in music. It comes out in music, it comes out in the speech. It's very much in the place names of Shetland which have lasted, and I think it's something we're very proud of, to be perfectly honest.
There's certain words that is, no matter how hard you try to speak English, that you cannot remove these words. That's why you cannot remove them from your vocabulary. Canna, cane, piri, these are ones that are entirely ingrained. Piri meaning small, canna, can't, or dunna, or cane is no, these are ones that are absolutely ingrained. That's, well, for me anyway, speaking to you, I cannot remove them from my vocabulary.
You know, how we naturally talked 40, 50 years ago literally doesn't exist in Shetland anymore, and that's just natural erosion. I think you know, the way that we've been in the past, no different to how we dress or behave. Really, it's I think it's just a natural change. But as long as that fundamental part of it is still there, I think you're still unique within your own habitat, really.
Music, language and traditions such as fishing are integral components between Lewis and Shetland. But the sense of identity these bring to us all is something definitely unique to each island.
You get the tradition in the boat building and the sailing and fishing and things, and that brings out identity as well, being Shetlander.
I find that all my projects south are inspired by Shetland. I can't get away from it, and it makes my work different to everyone else's as well.
Yeah.
It's such an inspiring place. I think that in itself comes with opportunities as well. Just
being on an island, especially Shetland, there is so many opportunities for people in everything, whether it's sport or music or drama, anything. That there's so many things for young people to do.
Maybe because we're more affluent than we were maybe back then, then the youngsters have had a bit of a fix already. They've been away, they've seen Glasgow or Edinburgh or possibly even London. I think then they can see, well, okay, there's many great things about being in a city, but there's also good things about being back on an island.
I can see why people think we're behind, but I can't imagine us having McDonald's and Uber and all of that thing. I can't imagine us having that, so we may seem behind to the mainland, but...
Can you imagine wanting it?
No, I don't really see a need for it, to be honest.
There's a lot of people end up in Shetland without necessarily meaning to end up in Shetland and get stuck. Usually for positive reasons. There is a lot of people that just was planning on coming up on a holiday or touring with a band or something like that. They just, hi Roger, how's it going? It's a documentary, yeah. You'll be in it. Cheers, Roger. Sorry about that, you can't get anything. There's on the other side of it being a good community, you can't get anything done without everybody knowing your business.
I felt like I was going a bit stale on the mainland. I wasn't really doing very much. So I kind of came back to recharge myself. Obviously thought I was going to leave at some point and haven't, and probably won't. It's not an unfamiliar town, I don't think.
I think I would stay away, actually. I like visiting, but if I found that when I was actually living here, I do get quite claustrophobic almost sometimes, even though it's quite an open place. I do like living south and just having to visit a lot.
It seems to be that whether you've never left, you've left and come back, or you've left for good, that the island is always a part of you, no matter where you are. And it's one of the many things that brings us together as islanders.
There's always something about islanders always end up fanning each other's company, like social groupings. You end up hanging around with the Arcadian folk in your year or the folk who the Hebrides, and the reason for that is that you're similar-minded in your outlook.
You always meet in with other islanders down there, and they always seem to congregate together. Quite a lot of them enjoy a good dram and a tune together.
maybe intrigued by other kind of social events because of the kind of communities that we've come from. We're not been going to nightclubs and whatever else. We've been going to our community hall and socialising in a kind of an intergenerational context because that's what we've been born and brought up with.
I think generally in Islanders everybody's pretty proud of where they come from, and that's a big part. All Islanders I know are really proud of where they come from and their culture and heritage and tradition, and they're also unique as well, so I think that's a really important thing too.
Yeah, there's strong affinity. I think it's just that connection with the sea and that bit of remoteness.
The affinity we have as Islanders is not only a comforting thing, it's an important thing too. To recognise where you come from and be proud of that is something that, as a young person, is invaluable. We are the generation that has the chance to preserve, promote and build on our islands, and we can start to do that by using that sense of place we all feel.
I think it's like what you need to feed your soul, I suppose, and what really means things in life. To me, it's all about family, a sense of place, community.
I always have to come back. It is home. I do miss it. I miss things about the island that I just don't get anywhere else, and even something like just the smell of the sea and just the community spirit and all that, you just don't get that anywhere else, and I have to come back every few months or I just miss it too much.
I've seen a rebirth of pride in Shetland among young people that maybe wasn't there 30 years ago, where they maybe felt that they were, you know, a bit rugged and rural, I suppose, simply because they were from Shetland and they weren't quite so proud of being there. And I think there's a lot of things that's made Shetland a much more attractive place nationally and internationally of late, and I think young people are proud to be associated with that again. And it's quite interesting to see how many are interested in, you know, reviving the dialect, not necessarily speaking it, but you know, just seeing it survive, because I think they recognise that things like that culturally are very important, and that's what makes us distinct. And I'm delighted that young people are proud to be parts of communities like this again. It's what will keep them alive.